All right, everyone, what is the deal? This is Robb Diggie in the place to be, opening up for season 2. They done messed up and let me have a season 2. I cannot believe this. We got renewed for another season. Season 2 is called The Shift. Every time that we had an episode in season 1, we always talked about the upcoming shift in the culture of hip hop. And season 2 is from 1990 to 1994, the pinnacle years of the shift in hip hop. Lots of different artists that we're going to be talking about during the shift, and lots of things to be thankful for the last few weeks. I want to give a shout out to Queen and Vita for holding me down for the last 5 weeks while I was taking a break. I needed the mental break from just everything for a little while, and it was cool to be behind the scenes and taping and filming you guys. But now, you know, your boy is back. I'm amped up. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to get back in the saddle for a long ride, talking about hip hop. And I'm just so thankful for the platform that I've been blessed with. And to go along with that, you know what? Every time we start out a new season, we got to start out with some celebration. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to pour one up to get us started. And I got a couple of special guests back in the house again. And who I have with me here is I have the usual suspect, William James Boyd, is back here with us. So, big brother, how are you doing?
I am blessed, highly favored, alive, and well.
All right. Good to see you, my brother. And we have a new guest with us today that you all have not seen before. My main man, Bruce, here, that I got the pleasure to meet with during season 1. And he said, Rob, you know what? I got to be a part of season 2, man. I don't care where you fit me in. You just slide me in wherever you need to. And just so happens that he's on the season premiere of season 2. So, Bruce, thank you so much for joining us today, my big brother here, and giving me some knowledge before we tape, talking about some different topics and themes, and giving me some mentorship in a lot of different places, which meant a lot to me, Bruce. So I appreciate it. So, Bruce, why don't you kick us off with a little introduction of yourself, sir, and when or how did you fall in love with hip hop?
First, I want to thank you for allowing me to come on. It is a pleasure to meet with both of you fine gentlemen. I've seen your work, and well, you can go ahead and pour me a little bit over here too, but we'll get to that later. I fell in hip hop, and I don't want to date myself, but back in 1979, in that time frame in there, I heard a song by a group called the Sugar Hill Gang called Rapper's Delight. I was a sophomore in high school, and it had first come out. And in my little place, I'm from the Midwest, so my little hamlet, we didn't have that East Coast thing where they had the party going, you know, and they had the turntables and all that. So this was like that first exposure to how they kept the party going and whatnot. And I tell you what, I fell in love with it from that point. Back in those days, we had Music Land and a few other places that we could go to, you know, to get some records and whatnot. We couldn't get the record because it was always sold out. So that was back in the day where you had to have the little tape recorder sitting right by the side of the speaker there on the radio, and I taped it off the radio. This particular day, I lucked out and I got the extended version. Back in those days, they called that the disco version. But I got the extended version. And like I said, I couldn't wait to share it with my friends and all of that. And I mean, again, that's where it started. And then it just went on from there. You know, African Bambaataa, Curtis Blow, you know, all the legends, you know, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And the names just go on and on and on and on. So, I mean, again, I am truly blessed. I'm highly favored to be here to share in your platform. So, again, I thank both of you fine gentlemen again for allowing me to come on.
We appreciate you, sir. And yeah, season 1 was a ride. So season 1, we were back. And when I started this platform on April 15th of 2020, so I'm only roughly 6 months old of doing this. I wanted to tell the story of hip hop. I wanted to do it correctly, and I wanted to go back, and I wanted to do a history lesson of how we are getting into today's hip hop. And I didn't think I could do it hip hop any justice if I didn't tell the story. So I didn't go as far back into the as far back as the Sugar Hill Gang or to that era, or with the Rapper's Delight and with the Message. And the reason for that is because I didn't grow up in that era, so it wouldn't connect right, because I'm only 42. I was born in 79, so how would I be able to speak about something if I didn't live it? But the 80s I remember very vividly, so I decided to pick the 80s and start there. And now we're into the 90s, and the 90s, in my humble opinion, is the greatest 10 years in the history of hip hop. And I can be on the record for saying that. That's the greatest 10 years of hip hop, 1990 to 1999. So great, in fact, that I couldn't do a full season on the 10 years. I had to break it up in half. I had to break it up in half to get through the 10 years, because there's so many significant points and so many significant artists that have come out and has changed and shaped the culture, and we have to celebrate it correctly. And that's why we're breaking it up in half. And we're starting out season 1 with Gang Starr, DJ Premier, and Bald-Headed Slick Guru, who, ironically, as we roll some credits here for some accolades, not a lot of accolades for Gang Starr, unfortunately. I didn't see a lot of awards that they won, or platinum selling albums or gold selling albums. The only gold album that I recalled seeing as I was going through this week was the Moment of Truth, which was released in 1998, which is my favorite Gang Starr album personally. But with that in mind, the Source magazine put out maybe a few years ago the top 50 greatest MCs of all time, and Guru was number 30. So he was on that list. So they paid him homage for his lyrical skills. And of the top 151 hip hop songs of all time, DeWitt was on that list at number 29. So they're on that list as well too. Yeah, DeWitt was nice. Gang Starr has got to be the sure shot. So that's one of my favorite hits. 3 albums within that era. They had Step Into the Arena, released in January 91, Daily Operation, May of 92, and Hard to Earn in March of 1994. So lots of great hits, lots of great sound, and a huge impact to hip hop. So that is going to open up our discussion. So gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining me in the middle of the week on a Thursday night football night of all nights, right? So hopefully we can get this right and get back to our evenings. I have a question to jump us off today, and I'm gonna pass the mic over to Bruce on this one first. So Bruce, as you were going through the last couple of weeks getting ready for this, what was the Gang Starr album and or song that you found to be your favorite?
Ooh, there are quite a few of them that I like, but I think for me personally, Who's Gonna Take the Weight? That one spoke to me the most. Wow. I like the way that cat jumped in with Guru. He jumps in. I like his delivery. There was something about those MCs, specifically from the East Coast, where they just had that vibe, that real smooth. Their cadence, their delivery, it was just so smooth, just real laid back. And I know that for me, I kind of confused a couple of songs where I thought they were, maybe even Eric B. and Rakim, because this cat's flow was like that. Even further downstream, Will Smith on the song Summertime, he kind of had that same kind of vibe going on there. So I just love the way those East Coast cats had that vibe going. So that one stood out the most for me.
All right. Boys, same question, man. What is your favorite Gang Starr album and or song? Which one resonates with you the most?
So my Gang Starr album is Hard to Earn. And that was a very pivotal point in my life. I was leaving Deutschland and Germany, and I was heading to Fort Hood. And I'd have to say, honestly, my favorite Gang Starr song is probably, God, they have so many different ones.
I know.
So many ones I like. I'm going to have to say, and it changes from day to day. So I'm just going to go with, man.
You need a lifeline,
I can't
brother?
pick one. Oh man, I know I might need a lifeline, but no, I like so many of them. You know what? I'm gonna go with, and this might be cheating a little bit, but I'm gonna go with the Militia. I like the Militia, and I really love the remix because I think the remix had Dub C and Rakim on it. So I really think those posse cuts kind of exemplified what was great about the 90s, because when you had a posse cut, it was like, oh my God, so-and-so's on this track too. And Guru held his own with the best of them. So hard to earn for sure.
Hard to Earn would be my favorite as well. Hard to Earn had Mass Appeal. That's why I think of Hard to Earn, I think of Mass Appeal. Mm-hmm. The way that Premier.
I was trying not to say that one.
Man, it's hard not to, but you're right. To your point, they had so many dope tracks, you guys. Their catalog is impeccable.
Yes.
I will be on the record saying that. When I went back and I was like, oh my God, like how in the world does hip hop not give them a Lifetime Achievement Award or something? Like, what their contributions to hip hop is unmatched. Ironically, you know, when we talk about DJ and MC duos, right? So I would probably be on the record saying they're in the top 3, if maybe the top 2, MC and duo combination, because we've had, you know, we got Eric B and Rakim, we've had DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, we've had, what's his name? Kool G Rap and DJ Polo. We've had a whole bunch of different combinations. I just can't think of them all off the top of my head right now. Or you know, next week, Rock and CL Smooth is another one too. But I think with the level of expertise of DJ Premier and Guru, like that two collection of sounds, and Primo was from Dallas, Texas, man.
I know, right?
Where do you find this guy? Dallas, Texas? Like really? Like what? You know, Guru.
And the funny thing is, he is the quintessential East. His sound is East Coast.
It's all East Coast. How Guru found him, I don't know. But apparently, how the story goes, and me and Bruce were having a conversation about this before we tape. You know, the beginnings of Gang Starr. You know, they were kind of going through some DJs. They had one fall off, and they were named something else. And then, you know, Premier sent Guru a mixtape. He was like, "Yo, I like that dude. Bring him up here to New York." And then that's how the whole story, you know, got started. And they've made some classic hits. One of my favorites, though, is Above the Clouds. I love Above the Clouds. The way that Premier mixes that is superb. And I want to say Inspect the Deck from the Wu-Tang Clan is on there, drops a verse on that as well. So go back and check out Above the Clouds, you guys. That's a dope track. But my all-time favorite is DeWick. And the reason why I like DeWick is because of, I think Greg Nice and CL Smooth, they just take that song to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? They make it fun. They make it funky. And, you know, one of my favorite lines that Guru drops is he's like, some randomness, you know, lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. I give him a props and stunts and Bruce Willis. Like that. Like just some random off the wall thoughts, right? But it's so funky, man. It really is, yo. But Mr. Bruce, sir, I'm gonna pass this over to you. So when we talk about DJ and MC combinations, where would you rank Gang Starr in regards to, you know, who was the best? And if they're not the best, who is the best?
That's a tough question. I don't get into a thing where I say this person or this group or this guitar is the best. It's too subjective. There are certain things that people do very well, and to say that this person is the best, you cut so many other people out. I think right off the top, I will say easily, top 3, easily. Rob Bass and Easy Rock are in there. Eric B and Rakim are definitely in there. I think Gang Starr, probably number 3, if we were to rank them.
Yeah.
Pete Rock, again, you mentioned him, Pete Rock, CL Smooth. You had Kool G Rap and DJ Polo.
Yep.
You know, I think easily they're top 3, easily.
All right. Well, thank you for your perspective, Bruce. And I would agree with you. I would definitely have them in the top 3, maybe even top 2. And number 1 only would be Eric B and Rakim. And I say that because Rakim is such a superior MC that I hate to say this, man, but I think he would have to carry Eric B with him to the top of that list because Rakim is a superior superior MC. The best MC to me that ever blessed a microphone, in my opinion, is Rakim. So I don't think there's anyone that has left a legacy with his superior rhyme skills. But Guru held his own too. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, like I love Guru, and I'm a huge fan of Gang Starr, man. I don't know how, when I was going through my studies this week, how they were not mentioned. So remember, Boyd, I was a keeper of the Source magazine. They were not really mentioned anywhere in the Source. Matter of fact, Hard to Earn got 3.5 mics. Are you what? 3.5? Like, that's a travesty. Like, what? What are we doing?
That was at a minimum of 4.5 mic. At a minimum of 4.5 mic.
Right? At a minimum, it should have had that. Just with Mass Appeal by its own should have got them 4.5. But hey, that's neither here nor there, brother. But so, Boyd, I'm gonna pass the mic for you on this next question. And DJ Premier, let's talk about DJ Primo for a second. So, Primo, if you're watching this or seeing this, hats off to you. We salute you. You are definitely in the top 5 best producers or DJs of all time, period. I don't care what list you have. You got to have Primo on there. But Primo has had the ability to adapt his sound to certain artists. So, Boyd, what is your favorite DJ Premier produced track that is not from Gang Starr?
New York State of Mind, Nas, and a very close second would have to be So Ghetto on Jay-Z's
Volume 3.
In My Lifetime, Volume 3.
Volume 3, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But by far, in fact, I'm putting the butt out there. I'm putting my butt out there in the middle of the street. I believe that New York State of Mind is the perfect rap song. And when I say the, I mean singular. New York State of Mind. If I'm introducing somebody to hip hop, if I'm introducing them to rap, I'm playing New York State of Mind.
I would agree. And my favorite, and this was going to probably catch you off guard, Boyd. I think you know this already, but I'm going to test your hip hop knowledge. I'm just going to look to you.
Okay.
If you remember this. But my favorite DJ Premier produced song is Come Clean from J. Rue the Damager.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know who Primo produced that, but he produced that. And with the drops.
Oh, yes, I know.
And it's so dope. It is so freaking dope, man. It's so dope.
The way one of the best lines ever. Leave your nines at home and bring your skills to the battle.
So clean. It is so clean. And I was like, yo, I'm a stump Boyd this week. I bet he don't know Primo produced that beat. I bet he didn't know.
Dude.
Stump the teacher.
I did, but I totally spaced that one. Dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Artist music, that artistry that they had at that point, you don't see that a lot now.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal. It's phenomenal. That's what a true artist does. That is artistry there. So
yeah, I agree. And I think that when we rank and go back and look about, hip hop in the early 90s, the way Gang Starr left their stamp, left their mark on hip hop is solidified, and Premier, went on to produce other artists and did other ventures. And me and Bruce will talk about this before we aired, and then, Guru went on his separate way and did jazzmatazz and started bringing jazz elements into hip hop, which was great. And that's where hip hop, it shifted. That's why the season 2 was called The Shift, because that's when hip hop took a right turn. But here's what I will say, though. We're going to start wrapping things up here. Is I put a poll question out there in our Hip Hop Heads Unite group. So shout out to Hip Hop Heads Unite for holding me down from 2016. But to this week's or the next 2 weeks, poll question is, which DJ MC combination did more for hip hop? Was it Gang Starr or was it Pete Rock and CL Smooth? And there was a lot of votes for Gang Starr as opposed to Pete Rock and CL Smooth. Ironically, we are doing Pete Rock and CL Smooth next week. So we'll see how some minds have been changed or shifted when we get into that next week. But gentlemen, we're going to start winding things down. And what we're going to be doing this season, you guys, is we're going to do a hooded salute for Trayvon Martin. We're going to do a hooded salute for all the lives that have been lost from social injustice. I got on the Black Lives Matter for our first episode because I am so emotionally drained with what is going on in society. And I thought to myself that how can I leave my mark for for hip hop and for our Black community. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to dedicate our entire season 2 to Trayvon Martin, and his legacy lives on through all of us. And Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon's mom, if you ever see this, my hat's off to you, ma'am, because your son was an amazing person and his legacy lives on through all of us. So with that in mind, we're going to do a hooded salute, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Bruce. So Bruce, who are you shouting out this week, my good sir?
I want to shout out all the young men and women that are out on the front lines. They're protesting. They're exercising their right. Those that are doing it correctly, exercise your right. It is your right to protest. It is your right to speak your mind, but just do it with intelligence. Do it with integrity. Honor those that came before you. Do it the right way. All the other stuff, all the background stuff, that's not necessary. Don't forget why you are there. It is not about you. It's about that individual that you're honoring. So let's make sure that we keep that exactly where it needs to be. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there.
Bruce, I thank you so much for your words and your wisdom and your mentorship to me right now in this moment and into the future as well, because this will not be the next time or the last time that we have conversations like this. And I am truly blessed to have met you through this journey. And I would not have met you if it wasn't for me doing this podcast, man. So it's just amazing how many people that have come into my life for doing something that I love to do. So Bruce, thank you so much, brother. And thank you for your mentorship in this space. I truly, truly appreciate you. And thank you again.
Looking forward to getting back with you again and possibly having some of that Hennessy. And I'll leave it there.
No doubt. Come on over anytime, man. Anytime you want to, brother. All right. So all right. Let me think here, man. My audience, those of you who are listening and are watching, have seen this man on 8 of my episodes in the first season. He's kicking off season 2 because he loves what he does, and I love having him riding shotgun with me. But William James Boyd, for the record 9th time, who are you shouting out this week, my sir?
I am going to shout out. I'm going to shout out affiliates of Gang Starr, and when I'm saying I'm shouting out affiliates of Gang Starr, just in case people don't understand just how broad a scope and how broad a shadow Keith Edward Elam, you know what I'm saying, rest in peace, born in Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts. I'm going to just name off some names that this man has been affiliated with. Ed O.G., M.O.P., Nice and Smooth, Wu-Tang, Kim, Digging in the Crates, Big L, DJ Mark the 45 King, Big Chug, Apu Ra, J. Rue, Group Home, Crumb Snatcher, Bumpy Knuckles, let me see, Jazzmatazz, Connie Liston Smith, Bradford Marcellus, Ronnie Jordan, Donald Byrd, Nadia Davenport, Brand New Heavies, MC Solar. I mean, there are just so many different ones. You know what I'm saying? Right now, Guru is in a group with Royce the 5'9", and it's just phenomenal. P-Rhyme, or Prime, P-Rhyme. But Gang Starr, they have got to be the sure shot. Gang Starr has done so much for the movement, for hip hop. It's just phenomenal. All the lives they've touched, all the people, all the respect they've garnered over the years. I think that's their reward. You know what I'm saying? Some groups, they don't get the accolades, but their presence is felt. And Guru's presence not being here, it's felt. You know what I'm saying? When that happens, there's like a vacuum. So those are the shout outs. Those are the shout outs.
Amen.
Yes, sir. Indeed. My shout outs are short this week. First off, I want to give a shout out to my son, Trey, who's turning 19 tomorrow. My goodness. So by the time this airs, Trey will already be turning 19. I love you, son. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. The world is yours. And this award is going to be meant for you in the future for the things that you're going to do for the next generation. So I love you, son. Happy birthday. Next up, I want to give a shout out to you two gentlemen, Will and Bruce, coming on. This is a great start to the first season, to the first episode in the second season of Diggie A2 podcast. Having so much fun doing what we do. So, gentlemen, I thank you both for being on and kicking off the season 2 with me. Next, I want to give a shout out to just hip hop. The essence of hip hop, the hip hop music, hip hop culture has made a lot of those that were less fortunate because of the platform, the talent that they have, the artistry that they brought to the music. Gang Starr is definitely within that conversation as well too, for their contributions. And of course, I want to dedicate this show to Guru, rest in peace, and thank you for your contributions to hip hop. DJ Premier, thank you for your contributions to hip hop as well, sir. Hope one of these days you get to see this and see that we are paying homage to you and what you have done for my life personally, with some of the bangers that you have dropped over the years and will continue to do in the future, my man. So I'm super excited about this and looking forward down the road to next week. Next week, we're going to have Boyd come back one more time. It's going to be me, Boyd, and my brother talking about Pete Rock and CL Smooth, ironically. So that's going to be next week's show. And here is the big announcement, you guys. The big announcement is, so the Diggie A2 movement has gotten so big that we are starting a website by the end of this week. So today is September 24th when we are actually taping. Right. You all are going to see this air next week on September 29th. So by the time you all watching this, we're going to have a website launch. We're going to have some merchandise launch. And here is the biggest thing that I have to get out there is your boy Robb D and his wife Jessica are on podcast platforms. So we are going to be listened to all over the world. We are on Amazon platform. We're on Apple. We're on Spotify. We are on going to be on iHeartRadio. We're going to be on every major podcast platform across the world, sharing our experiences. And the guests that are blessed to come onto the show, your voice will be heard all over the world on all major podcast platforms that you can think of, even Google. We're going to be on Google as well, too, you guys. So that is our big announcement. And, Boyd, you're going to be a rock star, my man, because your voice is going to be heard all over the airwaves, all over the world. Bruce, you as well, too. Man. I mean, you too, man. Like, we're going to be rock stars, and we're going to ride this wave out as far as we can go. But I'm so humble, so blessed to make that major announcement. Yes. And I got to say this, man, that I could not have done this without my right arm, Jessica. So, Jessica, thank you, baby, so much for blessing me with your skills and your perseverance and your thick-headedness. Your thick-headedness has got us this far. So I could not have done it without you. But, yes, great things to come for us in the future. We're going to be on all major podcast platforms and coming up really soon. And the one I'm thinking about that I left off the list is Pandora. We're on Pandora too. So if you're a Pandora fan, if you don't want to watch me, you can listen on Pandora as well. So that is my major announcement. Salute to all you guys. Salute to hip hop, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, 100.
Here we go.